So I have an amazing word from the Lord here, folks, to glorify His joy nature, a glorious name, okay? Remember, the Bible says God does things to make for Himself a glorious name. This is going to shock your pants off. So a glorious name equals 150 triple joy. A good name equals joy plus half a joy. Now, in the sovereignty of God, good name also equals Jesus. And you can very easily pick that apart into God's Son, because you have G-O-D, the O, and then an S can be built from the other letters outside the N. So good name equals Jesus equals God's Son. But now God takes this higher, as always, because He's perfect in all of His words and all of the letters. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, so a good name. God has a good name. It's the best of all names. So a good name is joy plus half a joy, 75. A glorious name is triple joy. Now this is the part that's going to shock your pants off. Is the computer reveals where those 350s are, and there they are. There's exactly one way that you can dice that sentence, a glorious name, into triple joy, and you're staring at it right there in green. There's 50 number 1 on top, there's 50 number 2 right underneath, and there's 50 number 3 right there. That's joy, joy, joy in symmetry, foreordained in these letters, a glorious name. So you understand that God does everything for His own joy, including the constant making of Himself a glorious name. A glorious name. That God, whenever He's thought of, everywhere, in all letters, in all Gematria, would be stood in awe of, and marveled at, and worshipped, and that every mind and every heart would be completely obliterated in its own esteem, saying, I am nothing compared to Thee. Thou art infinitely superior in every facet that we can concoct with our human brains. Okay, so a massive find here. So shalt thou lead thy people to make for thyself. Thyself divides by 5, and not just divide, like it's beautiful hopscotch 5s, thyself, myself, to make for thyself, okay, thyself and myself are pure 5s, screaming out God's joy in Himself. To make for, you can just keep, to make for thyself a glorious name. Now, and the word name ends in 5, the great E. Now, when you go to the Hebrew, the word name is Shem, and every letter divides by 5. And when God says my name in Hebrew, that's Shemi, which adds 10 points. And then when He says thy name, that's Shemek, which adds 20 points. So I always dig into the Hebrew with this Gematria, as I did from the beginning. And Hebrew is so loaded with 5s, and so is Greek, and so it's just this giant joy treasure house, okay? A massive gem, though. Massive. And then the word glorious is double Father. The word glorious is double Father. But I had to share with you this one because God is leading me. God has been leading me day in, day out to find joy, this number 50, and 5s in general, in all the sacred text and all the sacred names of God. And that is a stunner, a stunner, a glorious name, triple joy. There it is. There's all these other ways to find 50, but I programmed the code to filter symmetrical results to the bottom in green. And there's one way to get triple joy and symmetry. There it is, a glorious name. Joy, joy, joy.